Hello, my name is Lowell, pronouns he, him, and this is another session of Hearts of Wulin Numberless Secrets. This is an ongoing mystery series that we have done five mysteries for so far. We are here on our sixth mystery with our returning characters here. We're going to take up with where everybody is at in just a bit, but I do want to walk through with everybody one by one, reset stuff, and take a look at people's entanglements because there have been some pretty significant changes potentially for some people's entanglements. Some things got resolved at the end of last time, in particularly a long running interaction with Indigo Judgment, and there's some other characters involved with that. But that is where we are taking up and moving on to our next mystery here. So that's where we're at. This is Hearts of Wulin. This is the Open Hearth Gaming Community. So if you're wondering where that is at, and who knows how long this will take to resolve. Bao Shi. Let's take a look at your entanglements and
Yes.
see where we're at. You've got some good bond set. You've got some shadows there. You've got some room to eventually, as an advance, clear those shadows again. You've almost
Oh, that's
used all of them
true.
up. Yeah.
It's about time to do that.
Yeah. So let's take a look at where your character's entanglements are at. Uh,
Um,
we,
I
we
guess
have,
my romantic is still in play, isn't it?
well, we took Songbird Yun, I believe, is still present on there, right? He didn't leave. It
No, well,
was,
I think he left town, but it was because he's, being hunted, so that just
yes.
makes the heart grow fonder.
But I think we had, didn't we like move him off, or was he the other pair that we moved off that we had
The other
resolved?
pair's the one we moved off. My old boyfriend, I put him with his true love and helped them escape. This is Songbird June is the assassin, the butterfly
That's
assassin.
right. He is still out there, and who knows? We might see some of his family at some point. Who knows? Um,
Hmm.
but First Orchid does not approve, and we've got that ongoing sort of self-conflict between Janai and, her role as a Blue Mountain scholar. Are you good with those then?
I think I'm still good with him. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good to me.
Actually, we may have to come back to that because I'm actually thinking of changing the situation with Scholar
Okay,
Excellent.
and
yeah.
Janai.
Well,
So
shall we go to that and then
I
swing back to
didn't
Bao?
mean to jump in, just
No,
as
no,
a heads
we were
up.
almost done with Bao Shi, so that's perfect.
Okay.
So let's come to you.
Okay. So I think that it's about time to have Blue Mountain Scholar back in town.
Okay.
And what I'm gonna do is give up the sword, essentially give it to him, give it back to him. And probably essentially kind of go through that thing of I've done the stuff that I had to do in the meantime. And I'm probably gonna change my thing with Blue Mountain Scholar,
So your general entanglement.
my general entanglement, so that essentially it's that I'm going, I've done that. I know that Blue Mountain Scholar wants me to follow in his footsteps, and I'm trying to figure out if that's what I want as well. So,
Okay. So
and
right now that's the tension between yourself and Blue Mountain Scholar. Who's
right,
the third axis in that triangle?
I think I'm probably gonna put 11th Hound in there
Okay.
because he represents a sort of roving justice and that sort of kind of, what do you say, a less official life of seeking justice, which has its attractiveness to her at this point.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
Absolutely. I think that seems reasonable.
So I will work on doing that, but and then I probably do you still like the Grave of Saints 11th Hound there, but I probably shouldn't have 11th Hound over and over again.
Well, do you want him as a romantic entanglement or a general one?
Let me think about who I would be set. Who
Well,
would be
and keep in mind you
the-
have another potential romantic entanglement on the table. So it might be best that the 11th Hound go to general,
Okay.
and then you bring in our unknown person who is very clearly the doppelganger for our drunken master
Okay.
character as your other entanglement. Does that seem reasonable?
Okay. Sure.
Okay. But that does put us in a position of Bao Shi when Blue Mountain Scholar returns and, is clearly taking on his, at least for the moment, taking on his own identity and is giving Janai sort of both permission and kind of command to like take up her role. What do you want to do with that general? Is there some other direction you want to go with it? Do you want to still stay with Janai or something else?
Let me look through some things. I may
Yeah.
see what we can do in there. I like Shadai and I's connection, but there might be somewhere else.
Yeah, let's play to see what comes of that.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind if we both were a little bit how should we say, as we were both looking askance at each other's romantic choices as dear friends, going, that doesn't seem like, that seems a little dangerous. I like that idea that that's part of our thing is that, yeah. So
there are some bad choices that are out there. Okay.
so many bad choices. So
and then let's come to Song Da, who gets to clear, look, 3 elements. We're all banged up at the end of last time.
Yeah, it was not going well.
It did not. But one of the things, of course, is we've got like all of your romantic entanglements are kind of things that have been moved a little bit off the table.
Yeah.
Because of Iron Lotus, their players kind of out for a while, so we probably put them on the back table. And then Indigo Judgment, your master is done. Who do you think is in charge now? Is it one of our existing NPCs?
I mean, would it be Sister Lucian?
Yeah. Do we want to say that Sister Lucian it has kind of taken over for the Bureau of Legends? And of course, Sister Lucian involved with Chow Lin. And then of course, Sister Lucian's sister is another one of our NPCs from earlier as well.
Who's that? Was it the Golden House woman, Duan Su?
Duan Su, yep.
Yes.
Yes.
She has that same energy.
Yes. So
yeah,
where do you think your character's at? We don't have to set an entanglement, but like, where do you think Song Da is after all of that occurred and turned and really shifted things for him?
And remind me exactly where we left Indigo Judgment.
I think Indigo Judgment is dead.
Yeah.
I think you all fought him to the
Yes,
death.
okay.
Yeah. It was a downfall of a great leader who had done lots of shenanigans. And the Empress survived, and was kind of forced to remain quiet about what went on, and you all walked away without incurring the Empress's wrath or causing any future problems on that score.
Okay, so I think I'm sort of torn between poles with
Sure.
the Bureau, because I think with Sister Lucian taking over, but me being so connected to the notorious fall of Indigo Judgment, um, I think she's really come down on me to like keep my nose clean, walk the bureau line. We can't be seen to be going any further with investigating what Indigo Judgment was up to or looking into any of that, because that would just seem vindictive, like, she used her student to make a power grab and now we're just going to ground his name down or something like that. But I really want to look into what all that nonsense was.
It's not hiding things if we don't go and look into the things. Just remember that.
Yeah, we can make this like we can craft some narrative that's not so bad about Indigo Judgment moving forward, as long as we don't have to lie about it.
Right.
We can just assume the best.
And history will out for us, Songda, say in 2 decades, 3 decades, then perhaps we can start to tell the story.
But I think that is a specific, but in general, I think I currently am her only pupil. So I am the public example for her. I think having taken over the sect now, she's probably got like a pack of like 4 to 6 new pupils that she's having to train to be part of that thing, but they're nobodies, and I'm out here where people can watch me.
That seems more than right to me at this point. We'll figure out the specifics of the entanglements, how we want to phrase that
Yeah.
a little bit later on.
And
Yeah,
I'll be on the lookout to see if I see something for a new romantic entanglement, or if I think of some way to twist things around.
I've got some beautiful people for you this evening, so do not
What
worry.
that is entirely shocking.
Yes.
Did you get a new casting agent?
Yes. Sherry, could you change your character's name and background? Chow Lin. Let's take a look at your entanglement
Yeah.
here.
I also have an Indigo Judgment centric one, which I need to change.
Yeah. So are you still good with like something with Sister Lucian and a third party?
Yeah, I think something with Sister Lucian, maybe not that exact thing. Looking at like I don't have connections with very many NPCs here.
Well, this is maybe one of those things that today, if we consider this kind of a let's figure out where people are at session, we can figure out our entanglements kind of from that and reorient. Does that seem reasonable?
Uh-huh.
All right. So with that in mind, Bao Shi. This is several weeks after the events with the Empress and with the weird temple and all of this. And there's been lots of talk of the amazing things that were uncovered. You guys did that whole beautiful revelation in the square where you had that burning spot and things, and people don't know the full story, but it has definitely been shaped by the Empress to say, and Black Pearl, your good friend, working hard to make sure everything seemed like it came out right, exactly as the Emperor would have wanted it, and so on. And I think we are there in the late evening. You've been invited, and you are there with Master Jing. You may recall Master Jing is that witch nobleman who asked if he could serve as a patron to you, and with no hidden secondary objectives whatsoever. It's not like we saw something at the very end of last season, but he has had you over for a meal, a banquet. He's had you over probably a couple of times now. Just the two comrades, two peers, plied you with food, wine, and so on, and chatting. He speaks highly of your comrades, Lin, Songda, Jinai, but it's clear from his conversation that he regards you as the fulcrum, as the center point of all of this. And he will say, Bao Shi, it is, we are very blessed to have you as a protector of this city, quite honestly.
Oh, you flatter me.
No, I truly think that your presence here, I mean, I know a little about what went on, and some secrets of those things with the prince and the general and all of that, but enough that I do not wish to know that much more.
Yes, dark work indeed.
Yes, but you held the line on these things. So it is most excellent. And more wine is brought out, and we will see you. It's late into the evening. He's kept you around longer, and got that, that one more glass of wine, one more glass of wine, one more glass of wine. And you are departing from his place and heading back to your own household, Bao Shi, when, as you are walking along, feeling quite filled with that blush of alcohol.
Yeah, a little warm and fuzzy.
Yes. There is a gentleman who sees you there and says, you are the detective Bao Shi, are you not?
Well, yes, I am.
Excellent. And then the bag goes over your head.
Oh!
And then you'll feel something, and we'll see you go unconscious.
I should answer no.
And I think we will kind of cut forward from that. There's that bit where you're kind of overly warm, Bao Shi, and you will realize that you're kind of in darkness. Some time has clearly passed. Like you've clearly come around. You have enough sense to know that something was done to you. Some kind of poison, some kind of substance that has kept you out.
Okay.
And I think when the hood is removed away, you will find yourself in a stone building. There's a great fireplace built in there. It's dimly lit lanterns there. There are various trophies around and about, but everything is very kind of reddish black dark. And there is a figure that is seated on a stone throne. In fact, so much so that you can't really make out their appearance. They're more a silhouette there. And they will say, Master Bao Shi. They're very clearly projecting their voice strongly in this. I am very sorry for the means with which we brought you here to Bad
am
Valley.
Bad Valley?
Yes, our reputation precedes us, does it not?
Well, it's even in the name.
Well, there is that, yes. Master Bao Shi, we need a detective. And we're very much hoping to call upon your services.
I'll be intrigued.
So, how do I best begin? And the person at the throne is kind of like, is clearly kind of stopping here, trying to think about what their next thing they're going to say is.
Did you say I'm bound?
You look down, you are not bound.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, in fact, you're a little bit surprised by that. They took the hood off of you.
Okay.
You're welcome to make a study roll if you'd like to ask some questions here.
Yeah, let me give a quick look around the place. I think this is probably metal.
That
That would
seems
make
right.
sense.
Yeah. Well, I
Right.
guess I should pull up the
2d6 plus 3. That's a 13.
That is a 13. So we don't have a mystery yet. So we can't buy a clue, but you certainly have some hold there to spend on asking a question or making a declaration.
Giving a quick look around, do I notice any like, let's go with hidden details first. Let's get an idea of what this place looks like.
So it definitely has the look of a room, of a chamber that's made for just this purpose, for putting somebody up high on a throne. That your chair is a little bit lower than it ought to be. Everything in this room is orchestrated to get that feeling. And it looks like there could normally be more chairs than yours, like somebody giving an audience to a larger group, but this has been kind of arranged here. There are various hanging tapestries and things, very mismatched. Like nothing here looks like it came from a like core central thing. It's like it's been picked up and gathered up over the years. But
Off the back of
definitely,
a wagon.
yeah, like tapestries hanging and things like that. So does that seem like a fair answer to that first question?
Yeah. My second is trying to read this person
Sure.
kind of emotion by pulling off of it. Are they nervous or are they super confident? What about feeling off this person?
So they are definitely trying to hide who they are. They are definitely trying to hide that you're guessing that they are maybe 16, 17 years old. You think that they're probably sitting on some things to make themselves taller on that chair. They've done everything to conceal exactly how small they are there. Like, and you also think that the whole projecting voice thing is maybe actually kind of taxing for them. Like they're really working that hard. You have one more hold.
I do.
Wasn't it Orbo booster thrown?
Let's having kind of gained in what is my best in to manipulate this person? My means
They
of
definitely
manipulation.
want your help. And you think that you have room to make some demands here. Like they're not stupid, but they definitely smell a little bit of desperation off of them.
And they were in the thinking a moment of how to
Yes,
start.
pausing of how to proceed next.
Before you continue,
Yes.
I
mean, yes.
I'm certain that you, having brought me here, have some knowledge of my reputation.
Absolutely. I consulted with several people who spoke highly of you. They said that you fixed a thing with the temple. And I also know that you were involved with a person from Bad Valley.
I am not familiar with some who have spent time here. That's true. I also would guess that you realize I have certain gifts of observation.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, I would suggest perhaps that you feel free to speak as honest and openly about your problem so that I have the best possibility to provide some aid. And of course, if you wish my services, well, striking me about the head and shoulders is not the best foot to start on. Perhaps we can move forward in a somewhat more collegial fashion.
I certainly hope that we can. Yes, that would be good. Uh,
Then what is it you need, my friend?
and I think that you'll hear something outside, and someone will look in, and there is a bit where there clearly there's some gestures that go between her and someone else, and she will say, "So I take it you are interested, perhaps, in this
Oh,
case?"
I'm very interested.
And then she'll make a gesture, and she'll say, "Your colleagues will be with us shortly."
If possible, perhaps without the lump on the
Oh,
head.
no. Do not misunderstand me. They are following a lead searching for you.
Oh, how nice of them.
And I am making arrangements for that lead to here.
Oh, well, that is very kind of you. I'm sure they would have found it on their own, but, cutting to the chase, as it were.
Yes. And I think we do cut to, we rewind like several hours later. And there is, the morning of this particular day, the night, the morning of the night after, and Lost Song Shadai, you will be at your house when a Blue Mountain Scholar returns,
Hmm.
comes back to the house, comes in like he's never been gone, just walks in, sets himself up, sets himself in his chair like he never left, and merely greets you in the morning.
And I think she stops and she notes he's back and she acts like he never was not there. The only thing is that she does sort of, as she goes by his writing desk, she does tap the drawer where they keep the exhaustive notes in code about what has gone on.
Excellent, excellent. There's a wealthy entourage approaching the door, and I suspect it's for you.
Strange. Well, we'll take care of that.
And you will go out front, and you will see Master Zhizing approaching with a couple of his servants.
And I think she bows. Master Zhizing, welcome.
Lost Song Shadai, you are just the person that I was seeking out.
How may I help you? Would you like to come in? I'll get you some tea.
That is not necessary. Have you spoken with Master Bao Shi this morning?
I have not. I plan to go see him this afternoon. There was some talk of lunch.
He dined with me last night until the late hours. We had a wonderful meal, sparkling conversation, a delightful drink, and so on. And I sent him out the door at the early hours. But he apparently did not return home.
Oh no.
His household servant said that he did not return. His cleaning lady said that he was not there. And I have some fears about this matter.
All right. I shall look into this. Can you just sort of stops after the first bell or after the second bell?
After the second bell. We did go quite late into the night.
Very well, though. I know who would be at the gate. So I will inquire to see.
I would have gathered your other comrades, Shaolin and Sangda, but after the matters that we've dealt with, I was uncertain where they were staying or what they were involved with if Sangda was still here.
If he is here, I know where he would be. I will take care of this.
If there is anything that you require, horses, a sledge, money to bribe people, please. I feel that I was tardy in my duty as a host. I should have sent one of my guards back with him back home. If something has befallen him, I do not know what I will do.
Not mind 4 horses. This is something that I do not have access to. Only held in reserve if it turns out that he has left the city.
Well, very good.
And she goes, I will send a messenger.
All right.
And,
so
and I think she does lead into the door and she goes, Uncle, it seems like Bao Shi has gone missing.
Yes,
I'm going to go look for him. All right.
Fair enough. Have fun.
I will.
Investigating.
I'm just looking into a friend. That's all.
Fair enough. That's how these all start. So in our getting the band back together sequence, Sangda, where are you? We're a few weeks after the whole Indigo Judgment thing, that all of that has kind of calmed down. Things have settled maybe a little bit more. Where do we see you, and how do we know that you're maybe a little bit different, or your circumstances have changed, or you're feeling different about things? Or completely the same?
is the mayor that Master Zhaijing is the power behind?
I don't think we even have a picture of him. He is a figurehead that has kind of always been mentioned as the mayor.
Oh, no, we
I
have a
think-
picture of him.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, he's in the ongoing NPC thing, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, which one is he then?
Xiaoxing, I just saw it. So it must be in one
No,
of
no,
these.
no. I mean, Zhao he's listed as the friendly mayor, but he's actually the person behind the mayor.
Right. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think the mayor, whatever his name is, he is an impossibly dull person with the least interesting story possible.
Absolutely. I just want to say, people don't give enough credit to the civil bureaucrats and the role they play, especially in these hinterlands, with the various having to deal with the various Sha and Wuxia worlds. We are the real heroes out here.
Yes, and the Bureau is very interested in expanding our scope of our study of the Wuxia world by studying the people on the borders who make that world so possible.
At high time you did so.
So, pair breeding. That's
Yes.
trees, right?
Yes. One would be surprised at how much arbor knowledge is necessary for maintaining such a city as this.
Flips back through 5 pages that are each labeled important arbor knowledge at the top. Yes, there is so much fascinating lore involved in it.
Master Mayor, there's someone from the remember what your uncle's name is, should I? The Green Mountain. There's
Blue
a green
Mountain.
Blue Mountain.
there's a Blue Mountain investigator here who is seeking to speak with Master Songda. Well, they can wait.
Oh, yes. I nothing could get in the way of this unless it was a very important message.
Well, certainly. Why don't I make some more tea and we can begin another round of discussion? If you
Perhaps,
want to go
I mean, I wouldn't want to delay on any matters of life and death.
You'll hear that, Shania. There's maybe a desperate sound to Songda's voice.
I mean, nothing short of that could convince me to interrupt this fascinating interview.
And I do think it is a matter of life and death of the illustrious Bao Shi. It would be terrible if something were to happen to one of our most famous citizens.
Oh no, if only you could say that louder and closer to the mayor.
I did.
If you must speak with this person, go ahead, Songda. I will look in my trunks. I just remembered that I have a set of diaries, journals from the previous mayor with both his secrets of arbor tree raising as well as his poetry.
Poetry, his mayoral poetry.
Absolutely. It is a whole genre that is sadly neglected these days.
Oh, how I look forward to rectifying that oversight.
And you will escape out where you will see Janai out there.
Oh, thank you for that made-up story about Master Bao Shi.
It is not made up. We need to go.
Wait, what was it made up?
Bao Shi, apparently he was kidnapped.
Bao Shi?
Just from the hearsay,
Kidnapped?
we haven't gotten, that's incorrect. He's been abducted.
But
We haven't
Bao Shi
gotten a
was
ransom
abducted?
demands. Yes. He was
Who abducted him?
I don't know.
What have you been doing?
And Seth goes, we have to find Shaolin. Come on. I know pretty much where Shaolin must be.
And that cuts us to Shaolin. Shaolin, where are you? We're a few weeks after those events. What have you been up to? Where do we find you?
Practicing my boomerang technique, like in a little patch of forest.
So just outside the city, you are
Yeah.
practicing there. Like, what? Let's flash back to the last interaction that you had with an important NPC, like that is on your mind as you're going through the techniques here.
I think the reason I'm here practicing and going through these techniques is the fight with Indigo Judgment, because like that was harder than I thought it should have been.
Mm-hmm.
And like I took some damage, and Song Da took some damage, and like that it could have gone a whole lot worse. And I know that part of why I'm not dead is just pure luck, even though I won't admit it to anyone ever. So I'm like, oh no, I'm out of practice. I need to work on this.
And what do you think that the audience sees that maybe we haven't about the boomerang technique, the style?
There is you see the like the boomerang shoot out and like curve around like you would expect, but also weirdly dip up or down at the last second. They should not be able to do that.
Mm-hmm. Nice. And Sangda, Janai, I think you will, having spoken to some people, particularly the person who manages the lodgings that Shaolin is staying at, you will find them at this grove just outside of the eastern city gate.
I pitched whir gives me away.
And gosh, I think we have like the horses. We've ridden here, so I think that you see Janai, and she does do the thing of like she's riding up, and then she stops the horses like a good 30 yards from you. She never takes a horse up to, like right where someone is, and she sort of stops and from that distance calls out to you.
Yeah. Catch the brain flying toward me, walk up to, you brought horses. Are we going on a trip?
If you wouldn't mind, it seems that, and she sort of goes, like she doesn't want like anyone to hear it, except that of course she's still shouting at you from some, well, I'm not shouting, but she's speaking to you across some yards, and she's like, Bao Shi, I think he's been abducted. Everything points to Bad Valley. We've been having that place come up for a while now. I think we're going to have to go there.
Bad Valley?
Weren't you listening to me?
I was trying not to be eaten by this horse monster.
I don't know what you've done to upset that horse so much.
I like reach over and pet that horse's nose. It's the tamest horse I've ever seen. What's your problem?
Demon.
Absolute sweetheart. Oh, he's got a velvety nose. Yeah. So, would you be free?
Yes,
Let's go.
obviously.
So we're going to Bad Valley, into Bad Valley, us, to get Bao Shi.
Yes.
And there's this like smash cut memory in his head of Sister Lushan standing there talking about how it is of utmost importance that nothing disturb the reputation and the respect that the Bureau of Legends has in our eyes. And to that end, you are my extension in the world.
And she goes, I think that if we just approach, we sort of sneak around, we kind of find if we can like see where he is, we might be able to do a snatch and grab. Otherwise, we may have to negotiate.
Yes, sneaking. Perhaps in costumes. Do you have any experience with disguises?
And she sort of stops. I mean, I know some basic cloak stuff, right?
Helen is smirking in the background because if I remember right, I know this.
Yes.
You do. Okay, then, but yes, let's go.
And I think that there is a montage, because you don't know where Bad Valley is, but you do know.
Can we ask for directions? I think at
Well,
some point we have
you
to
do
stop
know
and ask directions for
We
Bad
have to
Valley.
go. I think we see you going, and then we see you on all of you. The horses are not there, but we see you on a boat on a fog-covered lake, and we see you gliding across, a sinister figure pulling you, and then we see you going into the secret illegal ghost market outside the city. Everything's done in dingy lights. It's where everything vile and illegal and sort of questionable is sold. It's the smuggler's market there.
Don't touch that. That's what Santa reaches out for something.
Everybody looks at you because you're all too clean, and
Yeah.
so on. And
Sogda has a very inconspicuous wide-brimmed hat with a lot of like veiling around it. It's totally normal.
Absolutely. Shaolin, you're a little more of a person of the world, so you've probably been to a ghost market before, so it's a little less for you. But I do think we get the montage of you asking around about things, and then a figure bolting for it when they hear you asking about it, and then them taking off on horseback, and then cutting to, how do you have your horses again? I don't understand. But now we see the three of you riding through the countryside pursuing this figure. Though I do think at a certain point
They stop for us to catch up with.
there is that bit of like where you begin to realize that they are definitely leading you rather than you pursuing them.
Songda's horse keeps veering off to the side.
And we will cut back to you as dusk is falling, arriving in through the archway of Bad Valley. It literally is a valley. You're not sure where exactly you are in the land. You've gone a ways. Tell me, Shaolin, what besides sort of the valley itself and the stone archway are the natural defenses you're seeing of Bad Valley?
The part that's actually inhabited is an island in the middle of a pretty fast moving river. There are bridges on both sides, but they're the kind of bridges that like could pretty easily be taken down if needed.
Yeah. They've clearly got some ways to make it difficult. There are buildings of the settlement that are out on outside, and then there's sort of the core heart there, and it's a fairly substantial settlement. Janai, what tells you that Bad Valley in this area here is a much older settlement than you would have expected?
Oh. I think that one of the things is that the island is actually a manufactured one. And you can see that it's been built up, and that it is actually from rock that is from, let's say, the Green Mountain. And Green Mountain hasn't exported rock for like centuries, if that makes any sense. Like they have a whole thing about their mountain being sacred, and they won't, essentially cut it anymore. And so this thing is built on green rock, on Green Mountain rock, is essentially it. And old enough that if you weren't a person from the mountains, you wouldn't notice that, there's imported rock there, because it's just been there for so long.
Absolutely. And Songda, you will definitely see that there are some banners for families here. Like clearly there are some groups. And I think you'll see a familiar banner and imagery of the Jun family, of Songbird Juns. What does that look like? Like, what is the heraldry for that? The only Jun that you've met is Songbird, who kills with butterflies. You know that they were working for the Verdant Sword Alliance as hired killers for a time. Like what is the marker or symbol or color for them?
I think it is like a small songbird on a branch. It's usually done in gold on a green background. But this one has like a bright splash of red on its beak, like blood.
Oh, nice. And I think as you come in, you will see that uh, this sort of shaggy figure is waiting for you at the entrance to the valley, and you will see the drunken master, Undaunted Zedong, is there, and she will say, "Hello, how are you?"
Johnson says, "Hi, it is good to see you again. And how are you?"
I am very well. I'm very well. I have
It
been
is an honor to meet you, unknown warrior.
uh, yes, yes. We have never met, oh veiled figure. So I couldn't
No,
possibly
if
have
not, then we wouldn't be meeting for the first time.
exactly my fine scroll and pen case carrying friend. Not that that's distinct or
Like,
anything.
moves his robe to hide that.
I did we have we met? We've met, right? This is Shaolin, isn't it? Right?
Yes, we've met briefly.
Oh, good. Well, I've been instructed to take you to the leader's pavilion.
Excellent. And
Uh,
Bao Shi is there?
yes, yes.
Oh,
He is speaking with, and you'll see her pause and say, the leader.
interesting. Interesting.
And I think Bao Shi, there is a pause there while some more tea is brought in, some food is brought for you, some rice. They have someone come in and like very clearly in front of you taste everything. And so on. And after about 20-30 minutes, there'll be some noise outside. And you all have come to this big building that's in the center of this settlement. And you're brought in. The halls are darkened. Everything is very much done to keep sort of darkness and shadow in here. And you are brought in, and you will see a little rough-looking Bao Shi,
Oh no. I
Oh.
have I'm always perfectly dressed. I have the my always perfectly dressed feat
Oh, that's
ability.
right. Yeah.
Midnight Orchid, yes.
Yeah. Even though you've been battered, hooded, not had a chance to shave or anything, you look immaculate. The others may be a little bit rougher because they've clearly been on the road on horseback throughout the day, but you will see Chao Lin, Song Da, and La Song Jinai come in.
Thank
Oh,
you
you
for
made it.
escorting us here, lawless vagabond.
And the doors are shut behind you.
Is Undaunted Zedong in here with us?
She has left.
Okay.
It's nice that you came. I was told that you started looking for me.
Yes, your host came and said that you had gone missing, had not made it home, Master Zazing. So I had to ask around. Gate guards.
I was hit in the head and a bag was put over my head. It was very
Really?
exciting.
Very dramatic. How is your head? So, okay. She actually does come
No
over.
complaints lately.
So, it doesn't hurt, does it?
Oh no. It's
Okay.
it's much better now. I believe they drugged me for most of a couple of days, in fact.
Just a day, just a day, says the voice.
Oh, I'm sorry. Our host.
Ah,
You may have missed them in the shadows there.
Shadowy figure seated on a throne.
and I will bow, say, I am Janai, Lost Song Janai, the grandniece of Blue Mountain Scholar. He has sent me in his stead to look after Bao Shi. And she will sort of bow to Chao Lin for him to introduce himself.
I do, but very it's very rote because I'm like more looking around than I am like actually paying any attention to what's being said.
Your valiant efforts in the fight against the villainous head of the Historians Bureau was well spoken of. Is the historian of your company not with you?
No, he could not make it. I am here as nameless muscle in his stead.
Well, greetings, name is Muscle.
Greetings, illustrious ruler of Bad Valley, who no one knows anything about and must have a fascinating lineage and backstory. Not that I care about any of that.
I will have arched an eyebrow over towards Lost Song and kind of a really?
And I think that you will see the figure on the throne kind of clearly looks, make certain that it is you four that are here, and they will get up off the throne, and they will walk forward into the light. And you will see this young person, maybe they clearly have painted themselves and so on to make them look older. But I think that their manner perhaps gives them away as being, a late teens. And they will say, my name is Gracious Wasp. My father is the leader of Bad Valley. And someone here has murdered him. And everything is going to go wrong unless you figure out who did it. And now we'll take our break, and then we will come back. Take 10. So Grace Swath they will kind of sit themselves down, so they're very visible here, kind of off the throne now, and they will say, "You have undoubtedly heard of Bad Valley. Bao Shi has spoken of that. I know that you have interacted with the Jun clan. They are not entirely representative of what we do here, but I will come to that. Bad Valley has existed for generations. It is said that it is built on an older site, but there were secrets supposedly passed down with the leaders of Bad Valley. My father was wheelwright Hantai. He led Bad Valley for the last many decades. He kept the three families, three clans that operate here in line, kept them to our agenda as best he could. He made this a place of refuge and safety for people fleeing from the wars in the north, and for traders and travelers supplying the ghost market and other like places. I will not say that he was a good man, but he was my father. He vanished about a month ago. There was some speculation that he might have been looking into the theft of some of the Jun clan secrets. That had been an issue. We had a problem. I know that Bao Shi, you are aware of that situation, the theft of those and so on. He often traveled out on missions, secretive, kept his own counsel, disguised himself. He was very good with disguises. I think the camera kind of leans over towards Song Da at that point and then comes back.
And I think there's just like the gentle crinkle of paper, because with all this history and families, like he can't stop himself from writing it down.
In his
under his
yeah.
veil.
I often handled matters here in his absence. And I thought nothing of it. He could be gone for longer than that. But 2 days, the laborer at the very far north end of the valley came across a shallow grave with a skeleton in it. That body had been stripped of its flesh using an ash lime acid bath that had destroyed much of it. Some remained. When I arrived, I found a few pieces of my father's jewelry that could easily have been planted, that could easily have been placed, but I checked the skeleton. My father, some years ago, had been struck on his third rib on his left side, and a weapon tip from a sword had broken off in that wound. They were unable to remove it without causing him more serious injury. And she will reach into her bag and she will draw out this broken tip of a sword. And she will say, "This was embedded in the rib of the skeleton. This is what convinces me that it was him. The heads of the three families, the Ru, the Xiao, and the Jun, have expressed skepticism at this. They suspect that that's not his real body. They are dubious. They've all dismissed my concerns. But before he left, he had argued with and threatened all three families. He had dressed them all down for various reasons and doled out punishments to some of them. I want you to find who killed my father. If you do this, the gold of Bad Valley will be yours to take with you. We will reward you generously for this. And you will have the friendship of Bad Valley.
See? A most princely reward. Excuse me. You will let me first ask a question, if you don't mind. At this point, are the families recognizing your position?
Since they have claimed that it is not my father's body, since they have disputed that he is dead, they have to, at this point, agree with me being in charge. To do so would be to dispute that would be to admit that he's dead. So they have to listen to me as much as they do. They will listen to direct orders and things, but I lack some of the techniques that my father had to keep them in line.
The second thing is, while obviously there is a certain amount of, let's say, pressure on us at the moment to accept this job that you have put before us, the old kidnapping thing and all. But would you mind terribly, not to be rude, if we had a moment to talk amongst ourselves in a bit of privacy, so that we could get ourselves into a better position as a group to fully answer and begin this investigation? If that is obviously what we choose.
Certainly, why don't you talk amongst yourselves, and then there's more I should probably tell you. But I will leave the chamber and give you the room. You see her pause, and she goes, I suspect you are skillful enough to investigators to know if you are being eavesdropped on, so I will attempt to not do that as best I can.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And she will withdraw and goes out one of the doors. You definitely do hear the chunk of a lock.
There's a moment of silence before Songda leans over and says, Master Bao Shi, it's actually me.
Oh my, what a shocking revelation. But I'm glad that you are here, Songda.
When Lost Song Janai suggested a wide brim hat and a little bit of makeup and deepening my voice, I said that's ridiculous. That could never fool anyone with any sorts of powers of observation. But it's worked perfectly.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yes. Well, Um, I do you intend to continue your ruse?
I am a public-facing representative of the Bureau of Legends, and as such, my actions reflect back on the entire organization as a whole, and especially on Master Lushan and her actions at the top of the Bureau, which is of course unimpeachable and respected in all places, except bad places where they shouldn't be seen.
Right. Well, yes, of course, then discretion is to be had, Muscles. We will keep that up.
You can see Janai trying to train herself first.
Shao and Shadai, it is so good to see you.
It's good to see you. Are you sure you feel okay? And she just sort of reach her hand out for your head. Just
It is healing. I believe that the blow itself was not tremendous. The drugs afterwards perhaps have made me a bit muddy, but all
yes,
is
I
coming
heard it.
into view.
I might not have been here as quickly as possible, but apparently you were sort of noticeable as a bit out of it as you were being moved along. So, yeah.
Well, I'm touched that you all came.
We cannot do anything else.
The question is, I don't see how we can politely decline this particular offer.
And do you want to, Bao Shi?
No, obviously I don't. I'm highly interested in what's going on.
Then you needn't waste breath trying to convince us.
It is a
At
rare
least
chance
I-
to learn more about the families of Bat Valley, too.
We will, I'm sure, hear more soon. But from the onset, a skeleton, a full-on skeleton rather than a body. I have to admit, I have not started from that position.
Well, it does tell you that it's someone who's familiar with those meats and that wanted to hide it.
I don't think that narrows it down here.
But she sort of stops and goes, and knew about the broken tip. So that would be a thing that we would ask about. Or didn't know. So we need to know who didn't know. If they knew, it could still be a foe.
Well, it has been revealed to all in general. So, sadly, they will probably be on their guard to hide how much they knew or not about it. But we can try to dig into that. I can only imagine a reason for leaving a skeleton to be presumed. That tends to be to obscure who the body actually is.
That's why I'm interested, like, who didn't know about the tell of the tip of the sword in the rib?
Why?
Who did?
We might also consider who might have known about that.
That's what I was, both who and who do not.
There's no assurance that that blade shard is genuine.
Because in my mind, if you wanted to cause trouble and kill someone, you'd want them to know. If you're obscuring that you killed someone that wasn't this person, then what motivations would you have?
Well,
Either
if you were quick to accept it, it would suggest that you did know and that you wanted things to move forward since he was known to be gone for a while, right?
They're not trying to usurp, at least not yet. I tend just on an onset, and I always hate to color things too much from the beginning. But someone we absolutely would know about this and would know that young Wasp is also aware, would be wheelwright.
Mhm.
You're wanting to convince someone you're certain knows of this identifying factor. I don't think we should entirely go with the concept that this body is who our host believes it is. We should be open-minded all the way through.
I absolutely agree with you. I think that we have all, well, so Muscles and I have said that in our own way. So yes, I agree with that.
Yes.
Gentlemen, we are people who are prone to jump into the convoluted details of a murder mystery. If you have anything you wish to say, for you are far more commonsensical than we are on many occasions, and I would be glad to hear.
No, I think it's clear that we are looking for someone who wanted to kill the leader, but didn't want anyone to know he was dead, or someone who killed someone else and wanted everyone to think the leader was dead, which is potentially everyone here.
And some of the people who aren't here. Potentially.
Yes, definitely.
So our list is
In fact, the
vast.
people who aren't here might be our first suspects.
Well,
Interesting.
this does seem intriguing.
I know. I think I'm a terrible human being.
We will cut to you calling back Wasp. She will come and she will say, "You are interested in pursuing the case?"
Believe so. However, it is important that if we're going to do this, you understand we will be digging through a great many things. You're going to help us have that sort of access?
I will do what I can to do that. In fact, when we are done here, I will call the heads of the families together and announce who you are and that you are here to investigate and that you are to be given all the graciousness that could be provided. So I should tell you something here that cannot be repeated outside of this valley. That's why I'm glad that you do not have the historian with you. We are villains here in Bad Valley. You know that. That makes us dangerous. It makes us outsiders, marginalized. The government avoids dealing with us because they know of our dangers and so on. But that's not all of the story. Well, as I say, we are not innocents here, but each of our families has a purpose to it. The Rue clan, they possess the forlorn bone technique, a notable, unorthodox, dangerous style. And they have killed many government officials.
Bones like a mysterious skeleton?
They can strike and set up vibrations in your bones that will not kill you right away, but will rather kill you later, having bones explode inside of you and so on.
Oh, that sounds fascinating. I mean, much too complicated for me.
Their activities, their reputation, their legend all goes to cover up the fact that they are hunters of corrupt officials. We listen to and receive word on where corrupt officials exist out in the hinterlands, out in the lands of the Empire. And we do our minor banditry and so on. And if a corrupt official happens to be killed in such an action, no one thinks that it was a deliberate assassination. But that is what they do. Likewise, the Shao family, with their black magic blades style, they rob, harm, and even kill merchants and the wealthy who have abused people, have exploited them, have caused them pain. They target their targets very particularly. The Jun family also once was engaged in that. They watched for corrupt members of Wulin and Wuxia society. Those people who would use those talents for bad ends. But at a certain point, they hungered for power, and they were co-opted by the Verdant Swords Association, as you would know. They served them for a time. They were given those puzzle swords and as markers, but then they were cut loose. And that is, they have been watched by my father since that discovery has been made, and their recent blunder in handing out some of the secrets of their poisons has made them I suspect my father was going to punish them even more severely soon.
Hmm.
But that is to say, we are not good people here, but we are not entirely the villains that the world knows us as.
This philosophy, these modus operandi that your people
Handed
follow,
down in the families over generations. I do not
it
know
is
who the
a
founder
personal
was.
thing.
It is what these families are. My father said that it traced back to the original founding of this place, but beyond that, he would not say more. And we have many talents.
Protection,
Yes. Pardon?
a protection for the common people and outside of the imperial purview.
Yes.
Very interesting.
We have many tools to carry out these tasks. So, if you are willing to accept this case, I will call the heads, the families here to meet with you, and I can show you around the valley before it gets too dark here. I will arrange for quarters to be set up. I will have to ask that you, during the investigation of this case, not leave the valley.
I think we can agree to that.
Excellent. Good. Yes, you don't want to leave the valley. Then why don't I have the heads of the family sent for then?
Yes, very good.
Yes.
Yes.
It seems like then we don't need to keep. What I meant to say is your friend First Orchid is here, Bao Shi, and I will have her sent in. I understand that she has worked with you, so I had her brought here for no nefarious purpose. So yes,
I'm sure she's delighted.
yes. And I think a few minutes later, she goes out. A few minutes later, a very angry First Orchid is kind of shoved into the room.
Oh, First Orchid, how nice to see you.
We're in Bad Valley.
Yes, yes, we are. Are you all right?
I am fine. I was kidnapped when I
Did
was
they hit
on
you in the
a
head with a
winning
stone?
streak. A winning streak.
Oh, I'm very sorry. That comes few and far between. Eh, they hit me with a rock.
Rock. That seems undignified for someone of your stature.
I agree. I should have thought something carven and very ornate.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
We had to endure horses.
Oh, this is Muscles, by the way.
I am a new friend. It is good to meet you, unknown person.
I am First Orchid. Do you have more of a name than Muscles, or is Muscles the only nom de plume we are going to be using for you?
That's all we've disclosed so far. I've disclosed so far. I am mysterious.
She'll look at Chow and Sinai.
It reminds me of the dialogue in some of the books that I've read.
We'll discuss it later.
Are we leaving now?
No, we are going
No.
to undertake an investigation. Shall we bring you up to speed?
Certainly, please do. And blah, she
Blah.
will listen to
Yes.
that. And after a while, there's some servants that come in that will put brass mirrors behind the lanterns and essentially brighten the light in here to make everything more visible. They move the throne back. They set up chairs for you in an area clearly to kind of give you a kind of a position of honor. And set that up. And Gracious Wasp will come back in. And over the course of the next couple of minutes, notably none of them coming in from the same entry door. Very clearly, they all wish to come different ways. The first is a pair, a man and a woman that come in. He's sort of heavy set. They will be introduced as Ru Huang and Ru Gang, and they are the heads of the Ru clan. You definitely have the sense that they are married, but that there's some tension there as they come in. A little while later, you will see a guy come in. He pokes his head in the door and he looks around very suspiciously. And he moves a little, how do I put this? He's a little twitchy as he moves through here. He's eyeing everybody. He sees strangers, he eyes you like he kind of like keeps his distance. And I think someone will say that is Chow Wu Ji, the head of the Chow family. And then after a little bit, a guy will come in, a kind of a more fair colored beard. I think you will recognize some of the features of Songbird Yun. in his face, and he is introduced as Nighthawk Yun. And Gracious Wasp will say, I know that there is some dissension about the matter of my father's passing, that there is some disbelief on this. To settle that issue, I have brought in some detectives. Grumble, grumble. And Wasp will say, this is the famous Bao Shi, and it gets a little quieter. And this is the assistant to the Green Mountain Scholar.
Blue Mountain Scholar.
Blue Mountain Scholar. Sorry, I always get that wrong. And
You
this
live atop the Green Mountain
Yes,
still, so I can see why.
and this is Chao Lin, who I believe has lately joined their company. And this is their dog's body, Nameless Muscles. And they will
I
all,
am of no import.
and I think you will see that all of them look very unhappy with this. And I think the first person to speak up is the matriarch of the Rue family, who will say, this is an absolute waste of time. This is your father is not dead. All that you're going to get is people poking around in our business, and then we're going to have to murder them in the end.
Well, I don't like that.
Well, you're not supposed to. And I think you will see Nighthawk kind of the June family has been eyeing you like he clearly knows your name, clearly knows all of your names. And he says, well, if her father is still alive, then they will find that out. And if he's not, then someone has killed him. And perhaps the person who killed him would be the first person to say we shouldn't have detectives around. And I think you'll start to see some grumbling, and that there will begin a pissing match between the three of them, kind of starting to toss accusations back and forth. Let's start with Bao Shi. Bao Shi, what do you want to do here in this scene? Is there anything you want to set up, manipulate, invoke?
I think the best thing for me to do right now, as they are, especially as we're having this cross conversation between them all, is maybe get in a study, try to read something off of the accusation. This is a good moment for them to throw some things out that they're a little less guarded about.
Then let's have you make that study roll.
Okay. I think this is probably water, because this is much more of picking up things than be really calculating. So, let's roll it. That's a 9.
That is a 9.
Not bad.
So that gives you a hold.
Does.
So what do you want to ask?
In this sort of general discussion that's going on, can I pick out anyone who seems to be laying claim to a being in charge should this leader be dead? Is there anyone I can sense ambition coming off of?
I think the one who maybe you have the sense of, detective has been called, that maybe has made it more real, you can definitely see that Nighthawk June is very carefully watching the situation.
Okay.
Like the sense you have is this works out for him. Does that seem like a reasonable response?
Yeah. 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 Okay.
Shaolin, what about you?
I have a move that I would like to roll first time
Absolutely.
in each session, etc. And I guess I need.
Oh, the Wanderer. Yes, let's do that.
Yes. Am I rolling with something or just?
Oh, absolutely. You
flat
always
here?
roll with
Okay.
something unless it
Okay.
says not to.
Cool, cool. I think I'm probably probably Earth.
Okay.
Ten.
But that is a 10. So I think that you are looking at these two, Wu Gang and Mu Huang, and you realize that because they kind of look like you realize that they know someone who must be related to them. You met a doctor in your travels, a wandering physician named Ru Nian,
Okay.
who, like, you're a little bit shocked that he's from Bad Valley. But
He certainly didn't tell me that.
yeah, but I mean, a generous, wandering, sacrificing themselves to help people, a physician. And I think you have a bond with him.
Okay. Cool.
Uh, Nameless Muscles.
Um,
You can
I,
tell me when to stop calling you that, by the way. So,
I think it's going to be an evolving process. Um, I think as the various clan heads are uh, hurling accusations at each other,
mhm.
I want to like nudge that and push it along and sort of encourage them in a like, oh wow, I mean, I'm just a simple, humble bodyguard with no particular family honor to my name, but that sounds like I really wouldn't let someone say that about my family. I think it's brave of you to have the sort of self-control to not respond to these sort of accusations.
What is your intent, and what is it you want to roll that?
Basically, I'm trying to get them to dig up all the old crimes and stereotypical accusations because I want to know like what we can look for as clues pointing to these various families.
Sure. So that still feels like a study for that.
Sure.
Yeah. You're gonna get your own free question too from Smiling Proud Wanderer.
Um, I do guess. I mean, this sort of falls under fire. I think
Okay.
it's inflaming passions. Is the
Absolutely.
sort
Just
of
don't
what I'm
don't
going
roll
for.
snake eyes.
Why, why would you say that? No, I dang it. I prepared for this. I swear. I tried, but that's
Oh,
a
you
7.
did try. So you've got two questions. You got one hold, so you can spend a hold to ask a question or make a declaration, and you can do your free study question.
Um, basic moves. who in this like volleying back and forth argument, who is most deflecting attention away from themselves? Like, who is most often trying to turn the argument over to someone else?
Brew Gang, the husband, is clearly trying. He's clearly there, and presenting himself as the head / co-head of the family, but he's also avoiding really saying anything. Like he talks a lot, but he says nothing, and then pushes it back out there, in a way that like he's clearly trying to figure out what's going on with the situation.
And again, as the clan heads are focused on each other, I'm gonna watch Gracious Wasp.
Mm-hmm.
Who do they have the most suspicion for? Like, who are they watching out for here?
Their eyes could pretty continuously go back to Nighthawk June. Like they set themselves to keep an eye on him the most, to watch that, to watch how he reacts to what is said, and so on. You definitely have the sense that if she were to be like asked, "Who do you think killed your father?" she would point at him.
Cool.
Janai?
I'm listening to all of this, but trying to get a sense of what their current state is here between each other, like what the power thing is between the three families.
Sure. Let's have you roll study.
Okay. Yeah, I think I will roll that with water. Curiosity. I'll
Okay.
roll it with wood. But you know what? I've closed the roller again.
Shocking.
How do I do that? I do not understand. Let's see if it still works for me. It's been a long time. Okay. 56, and I'm going to add 1 to it.
Okay.
So that's an 8.
That is an 8. So that gives you 1 hold. What is the specific question you want to ask?
Of the 3 families and there's 4 people that are here, who does not get quibbled with when they say a thing? Like who is the one that they get the least pushback from the others?
I think that's Xiao Wuji. You think it's partly because there's certainly some throwbacks about like resources and number of people and things like that go get, that seems to be between the Ru and Jun, about that. You definitely have the sense that the Xiao family might be the one that's in the best position, but also like, when you're talking, you see somebody talking to somebody and you're like, oh, I think they think that person's kind of crazy. So they're talking in a very particular way.
Oh, they're trying to keep him calm.
Yeah. Like there are, when they go to accuse or throw at him, they do it in a more tactful, careful way that doesn't cast aspersions on him personally. And like he looks fucking twitchy.
Interesting.
I think eventually, like the fact that they're all arguing that eventually they all to like in that game of one-upsmanship have to be effusively agreeing, be the most effusive agreeing in that yeah, we should have a detective here. And there's that sort of battle to race to the bottom to do that. And Gracious Wasp certainly works that a little. She's watched her father. She knows how these people operate, and she does push some of those buttons. You see her, she does look and acknowledge Nameless Muscles playing of the game as well. But eventually she will get all of them to agree. And there's a lot of nodding that will go along there.
I like that. Okay.
And she will say to them then I will put the detectives up here in the estate. They are not to be harmed, molested, interfered with in any way, shape, or form. They are to be given your full cooperation. Because, of course, not cooperating with them would be perhaps a sign of some guilt in the matter. So we will set them up, and they will begin their investigation tomorrow. And the three will not, they give the slightest of bows to Gracious Wasp, those sort of formal bows before they depart. And then Wasp will say, there are other citizens in the valley. Many of them are merchants and tradesmen and things like that. But those are the three main families. They have others amongst their number. They have their own techniques that they keep. There are a couple of outsiders who are here as well. But we can talk about them. What else can I tell you this night?
Well, one thing probably first that would be best, you should see the remains and where they were discovered.
Absolutely. Do you wish to go tonight? I can have servants come with torches to take you there.
I'll give a look, but kind of say the least time in between, the more likely we are to find an unaltered situation.
Well, I can show you the skeleton. I had it brought back here. And then I can show you the place where the laborer found it. I'll have him sent for as well. He can explain the circumstances.
Wonderful.
And she will call for that
Actually,
servant.
she stops and she goes, has this laborer been here? Been like through? Identified as the person who found the body? Do they know that this was the person who found the body?
I think that is common knowledge, yes.
Okay. Good. Just need to know whether they know who it is or not.
And so she will send for a couple of people with torches, and for the laborer, and they'll kind of march you out into the cool evening air, across one of these bridges. You'll see there now. They're like, word has clearly gotten around that there is this detective here, and so there are people kind of staring there. You see, this is a settlement with a lot of spaces. There's definitely a a fighting pit. There's the valley leader's mansion. You see households for the various families. It looks like there's a physician's house, like that's marked out separately. Looks like they've got their own tavern. Looks like there's a market. There's even what looks like stocks and maybe a prison for prisoners. And then this laborer will come. He seems like he's now like freaked out. But he will greet you. The mistress says, sorry, the master says, they wish me to take you to where I found the body at.
Yes, yes, please.
Uh,
And I'm going to, while I'm traveling with this person, just small talk and try to get them as close on their trying to get them comfortable the whole walk. I'm going
Sure.
to be
let's
doing
make
a bit of small talking with
let's
them.
do hearts and minds here.
Okay, because I'm doing a setup also to eventually get on my tracing shadows with them.
Right.
But I love a hearts and minds. I don't mind that one bit. Let's go. This probably would. This is patience and curiosity about them. All right. Rolling. Boy, they're all about those sevens today.
Yeah.
I got an 8.
Yeah. I think he's you treat him with some dignity and respect. You can tell that he has respect for Wasp. Like not fear of them, but actual respect. And once you kind of get them settled down, he'll say, so we'll have to walk the path. I'll tell you, I'll show you the path that I took. I headed to the north end of the valley, and he'll walk you through. It's a little bit more difficult. You can actually walk up the side of the valley, and then he'll stop you and he'll go, for this next bit, you'll need to be quiet as we walk. Okay. And he'll walk you on, and you will see there's like some steam rolling off. And you can see that there are a set of mountainside hot springs that are there. And you can see that there are a lot of monkeys in there.
You were going to say that.
And they're all kind of like they hear the thing. They don't, but they all kind of watch you. You can see that they have there's some fruit trees around there as well. And he will say, during the day, they're not there, but at night they come and sit in the hot springs. And if you disturb them, they will fling things at you. Oh, no. They don't do that. The fruit, it gets soft and mushy, they'll throw that at you. And he'll kind of walk you down and he'll say, most people don't go to this part of the valley. It's just down the hillside from the hot springs, but there's nothing much here. But because the monkeys sometimes throw the fruit, it falls down the cliffside there and lands, and I go and collect the seeds, because some of the fruit seeds, there are people who will pay for them for herbal remedies and poultices and things like that. Most people don't even think about that. They don't even come down here. So I can usually get it myself. If you're heading north out of the valley, you go by the chamber road, so you don't even go over this way. And he will bring you to a spot there. You can kind of smell like clearly the monkeys do fling fruit out here. It does sit and ferment. And he will show you to a space where there is uh, a section of dirt that is carved out, but it's kind of hard rock. So it is a shallow grave. And he will say, I came upon the body here. The smell was, I could smell the fruit, but then I smelled this sort of like undercurrent, like an acrid smell that hung around here. And I looked around to see if something had died or something. But I didn't see that. But I saw that there was an odd pile of rocks. And it wasn't like that when I had been here a few weeks ago. So I started poking around. I thought maybe someone, like maybe one of the Shaos were doing one of their experiments. They do some very unpleasant things. But then I moved more and I burned my hand a little from, there was some of the lye, the acid. I don't know exactly what it was that did it, the lime stuff. And then I saw a bit of a foot, the skeletal, and I knew that wasn't right. There's no reason for someone to conceal a body out here. I mean, if it was one of the people in town, like one of the bigwigs, if they killed somebody, they would have told people they killed them. So I knew it was maybe like some of the like somebody doing something bad in town. Maybe they had, like knifed a traveler or something, or I didn't think he was anything big, but I did go back and I informed the city overseer, and then he's told Wasp, and we came out here and moved all the stones away and found the skeleton.
Would
And
Wasp
you say-
usually come out to see things like that?
It was he said somebody got killed, dead body, so yeah.
Okay.
They take
And you
security seriously.
say that you had been here only a few weeks before, and that this was not present.
Correct.
A few being 2, a few being 4.
2 weeks. Yeah, I think 2 weeks would be if I'm judging by my memory of things.
Right, that puts a little time frame for us.
Do you recall when Wheelwright left prior to you coming out here? Like, how long had he been gone when you found that grave?
I don't know exactly, but I've heard people say he's been gone for a month.
Hmm. So,
Does this help you all?
a little bit. So he had been
Yes.
gone some time, and you had not seen a grave here,
Correct.
and then you came back a second time and there was a grave here.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
And we're here at the site now?
Yeah. It is as I said, it's a shallow grave. They've moved the stone away. There is the chemical residue of someone having used the kind of lime ash combo. By the way, I know that there are primitive acid things to dispose of body. I am probably saying the incorrect thing, but imagine that they are using the correct thing.
Exactly.
But lime certainly is-
Verisimilitude.
Yeah. It certainly
Did they
is.
use it in place here? Or was that done somewhere else?
Clearly done in place here.
Ooh. Okay, I'm stopping now with my questions.
I suggest that we all take a direction and maybe look to see it. It's unlikely that too many clues would have remained, but we have a location. We certainly should exhaust it.
So let's have one person can make that study roll, and you can have, if somebody wants to pitch in bonds or roll a help on that, that'd be fine. So who would like to make that roll?
I'll make it.
Okay. Let's have you make that roll.
God, we have no bonds. Can we start with some bonds, or are we just 0 bonds no matter what?
Well, why don't you roll comfort and support?
Okay, I'll roll
Tell me
comfort and
how
support.
you're supporting Bao Shi as Bao Shi does his work.
Oh, you know, I have been out on many a night investigation with Bao Shi from the time we were little kids. I know exactly how to hold the lantern for him and his signals for it, and how not to cast the light into his face, but where he wants it to be. So
What do you want to
yes.
roll that with?
I think I will roll it with let's see, it's awareness and flexibility. So water.
Okay.
6, I'm adding 1. And so it's 8 again. That's all I get is 7 total.
So Bao, do you want to give Janai a bond with you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
right.
And then
And then
Bao
I'll
Shi-
give it back to you. As a
well,
plus 1.
possibly. We'll have
Yeah,
a roll.
If
we'll
you
see.
need it.
I'm going to be rolling with metal. It seems this is all calculation. This is the job. That's a 9, and we can use
The
your
1 and to make it
bond.
excellent. Yes, let's do that.
That gives us
So
a 10.
that will give you 2 hold.
Definitely would like a clue.
Okay. Let's see, what's a good one here for this? I think that you will find not, it is a little ways away from this, but it's, you know, again, like another concealed thing near here. There are some rocks that are kind of out of place. And when you move them away, kind of push them away, you will find that there is a wooden box there. And when you go to lift it up, it's quite heavy. And
Oh, muscles.
when you open it up, you will find it is a box filled with silver and some gold tails. It's a chunk of money, a money box concealed out here.
Why is it so heavy?
Well, look at that.
Very generic box, perhaps deliberately so, and quite a chunk of money in there.
Interesting. Okay.
And did the setup seem to be about the same time, or has that been there longer or less?
I think that's hard to say given
Okay.
the environment.
Okay.
But that is the wooden box filled with silver and gold tails. Songda, is there, Chalin, is there anything you wish to do here? Or do you want to do something when we get back to the village?
Actually, while we're out here, I want to find a moment when our guide is distracted, looking the other way,
Sure.
and use my phoenix flying in the sky
Okay.
to send a messenger bird off to. I think I'll send it off to Crystal Bao Bao.
Oh, rather than your boss and tell her,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yes. Yeah. And tell her that I have a super secret and important mission that I need her help with, and she can't tell anyone, and that she needs to come meet me near the cross of that mountain and this river that's nearby.
Okay.
I can't just tell her to come meet me in Bad Valley, because what if someone found the note? And also, she probably doesn't know where it is. I mean, I didn't know where it is, so she definitely doesn't know where it is.
Okay.
He totally knows where it
Yeah.
is.
So you will absolutely send that messenger pigeon out and kind of make arrangements to meet with them tomorrow.
Nice.
Sound good. Shaolin, I think if you'd like, we could have you cross paths with your companion, your friend.
Yes, that's
So I'm going to kind of move us back to town as you're coming back after having investigated the place. And this guy walks you in a way that kind of shows you that should you need to find your way back here, you'd know how to get there and so on. I think as you are walking along, coming back, torches around in the town, you'll see, looks like the aftermath of a bar fight, like somebody's carrying, on their shoulders a buddy over to a physician's house. And Chow, you will see kind of come out of that your friend Ru Nian, who is kind of has his arms crossed and shaking his head, and at the guy who's being brought with the big old noggin lump, and he'll see you. Chow Lin, put him inside. My assistant will, and he'll come walking
hello.
over. You'll forgive me, but I heard your reputation, but I never believed it, and I did not think you would be in Bad Valley.
I could say exactly the same thing about you.
I am not here of my own choosing.
Same here.
Oh, were you kidnapped and dragged here?
Yes. Well, I wasn't. I came here to find a friend who was literally kidnapped and dragged here.
I
knew it was a trap, but I didn't know what kind of trap exactly.
Which of your friends was?
Bao Shi, Master Bao Shi, who the detective who was brought here.
He'll kind of look past you at the other three of them. Which one is Bao Shi?
And I point him out.
Oh.
And I like wave them over, like, this is Master Bao Shi. As I said, he's an accomplished detective, and this is my friend Lost Song Janai. She's the is it niece or granddaughter, grandniece of Blue Mountain Scholar, the the renowned Blue Mountain Scholar, and this is our
Nameless muscles.
our assistant and bodyguard, Nameless Muscles.
Oh.
You can just consider me part of the background.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. Why don't the four of you come inside? Come inside. We shouldn't talk out here. And he'll bring you into a pretty well-equipped but still rustic doctor's office here. You will see this young woman has clearly his assistant has taken the guy who got thumped on the head and is has him laying down and working on a poultice. And the other thing you'll see here, as Runyan brings you into the bigger kind of room, you'll see that in the corner of the room is a big bathtub. And you'll see this figure, eyes closed, seated in the bathtub. And Rue doesn't acknowledge him, doesn't say anything, doesn't gesture to him anything, kind of ignores him like he's part of the furniture. But Rue will gesture to all of you to sit down, and he'll say, so Bao Shi, was it?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right. So Chow, what is going on?
Well, we're here to find out who killed Wheelwright Tantai.
Well, I told him I thought it was his body.
Well, his child thinks so too. So
Yeah. My
I think
parents
others
and the
may
other
also
leaders,
believe it
yeah,
and pretend they don't.
this is not going to be bad. I mean, this is going to be bad, is what I mean to say. Wheelwright Tentai keeps things in order here. If he's not here to crack the whip, all of the worst tendencies of these people will come out.
Why were you so certain that it was this Master Wheelwright?
He will go over to where the bathtub is, that great tub, and you see him reach over for a sword. And as he goes to reach for it, the person in the tub, like their hand darts out, grabs it, and there's a brief tug, and Runyan whispers some things to him, and he'll let go, and he will come back over, and he will say, "It's possible that it is not him, but," and he'll draw out this beautiful sword, gleaming, black, ornate, carved, and he will hold it up, and he will show you where the tip of it is broken off. He will say, "That tip that they found in the body fits this blade." Now, there is a possibility someone took this blade and made a duplicate that, it's not outside it's not impossible, but this blade is the blade that struck Wheelwright and put this away and broke off.
Some time ago.
Many years ago. It has been, see him, I think, how old is he? 11 years.
And the person there in the tub has this sword.
He'll go and put the sword back over by that person. He'll say, "That is a wandering hero named Ji Mingling. He arrived in the valley 11 years ago, wounded, hurt. He had an altercation with Wheelwright. And the fight was a draw. But afterwards, Wheelwright allowed Ming Lang to remain. But Ming Lang is not well. He has been poisoned. Yeah.
Recently.
No.
The entire time.
Yes. He came here poisoned, and I believe that Wheelwright added to that to keep him here. Plus, when he arrived here, he had a baby with him. And to secure Ming Lang's agreement and good behavior, that child has been raised here in the valley. not a great deal. Ming Lang has pledged to keep that child alive, and so he cannot leave, and the poison is the problem. And each year, Wheelwright comes and forces Ming Lang to turn over a little more of his style secrets.
So it seems highly likely that with this sortif so perfect found within the remains,
That is what led me to believe that it is, in fact, Wheelwright Tantai. If it was Wheelwright himself, I mean, perhaps he found a way to remove the blade and use it as a thing, but I did not know how to take it out. Not without causing him severe damage.
see. A quick question from your knowledge as a doctor. The caustic material placed upon the body, roughly 2 weeks would have made it reach the state in which it was found.
I think it would have taken a shorter amount of time to strip that flesh away, but yes, it seemed like close to that, I would
2
say.
weeks, less than 2 weeks.
It could, it's difficult to say, given the elements. Chow, I hope you won't take this, did Wasp say anything about you staying in the valley?
No, no. I think we're meant to stay here only until, we
Did she
have
say
an
you
answer.
did she say you couldn't leave the valley right now?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll prepare something because they've poisoned all of you.
That doesn't surprise me. Thank you.
It's a minor thing. They'll be feeding you a daily dose antidote, probably with the plan of when you have successfully completed your task, giving you the full antidote. Allow me to prepare something for you. You're an old friend. If you'll keep your mouth shut about my doing it, I will prepare that for you so you won't have to worry.
Of course, and I appreciate it very much.
We will speak again later. I should introduce, this is my assistant, Pearl Mist. She is my ward. She'll bow. She looks very like she kind of keeps an eye on Runyan in that kind of protective way, of a young woman who is clearly, in love with the older doctor and unable to say kind of way.
I nod, and she seems very efficient. Point to what she's doing. I won't.
We'll speak
We're all
tomorrow.
very busy, I'm sure.
I'll prepare those draughts for all of you, and we'll speak tomorrow. And you all will head back. You've provided with luxurious chambers. You're each given your own rooms. There are baths in there for you, beautiful beds, like clearly the riches of generations of banditry put on display for you. Though I do not imagine that you sleep particularly well that night. But I think that in the morning you will hear a gong hitting, sounding. First you think, okay, maybe this is how they do some kind of clock, but then it beats more irregularly and loudly, and the four of you will come down, and you'll see that there is a big group across the bridges at one of the like workshop buildings, that is gathered there. And we'll see you all kind of come up to follow and kind of part through the crowd. And you will see that there is a big vat. You can smell it here. It's someone working on birch bark tar that kind of, have to heat up things and boil them down. And I think that you will see the legs sticking out from the birch bark tar. Someone has been dunked in head first into this. And I think that you all saw Xiao Wu Ji last night, and you will recognize his clothing. And that is where we're going to take up next time. Does that sound okay? I would like to do a quick stars and wishes. One of the questions is here, like, I've certainly got some NPCs on the table for this. This is an area that's kind of a little bit away. We'll bring Songbird Jun onto the table if you want. We can do that, Bao Shi. But if there are other people that you want me to like slide in here, we can also do that. Let's start with Shaolin, if that's okay. Stars, wishes.
Stars for the creative way to to start the mystery. Like, oh, let's just kidnap Bao Shi. That was good. I like that. And I mean, stars to Patrick for the absolutely ridiculous ruse here. Like, it's we got one person out of disguise, so therefore we have to have
always got to have one
disguise. And you filled that lack in the funniest way possible.
Anything wishes wise, particularly any NPCs that you want me to bring in?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I think that's fair. I just wanted to check in and make sure. We certainly can build up some relationships with some of these people, these bad boys here. So Bao Shi.
This was a hell of a start. I always like to try and, in my mind, Bao Shi is, I mean, he's a brave enough guy, but in a lot of ways, he's sort of fearless in the face of people and situations. And so I loved the situation there as it was set up, and you having the kind of, what, a bait and switch, but kind of the misdirect of the shadowy figure, and then we realize that it's this young person, maybe a little out of their depth. I thought that was really good. I loved everybody's the getting their montage from everyone and all of their little things they were doing before they were all collected. I thought that was really, really fun. It always amazes me how quickly we fall back to these characters. We really know these characters pretty well. And we're, at this point, Xiao has been around enough that it was nice to see you, Ethan. You fell very much right back into them. But, I mean, at this point, Song and Jedi, and me, we're just had at these characters. And the way that kind of natural, how we all four interact with each other, the understanding of each other's foibles, it was just really comfortable falling back into these characters. They're fun. They're just a fun crew. And this was a nice little mystery intro. Wishes, I do want to see Songbird Unit, especially if we are, here with family.
Mhm.
I definitely would love to see them pop in.
Show up in disguise.
Yeah, I think we left off that they
Yeah, he's in
couldn't
trouble.
or wouldn't return.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he'll have to have heard that you're here and come to try and help.
Aw. And I suppose other wish might be I'm very interested in kind of getting a feel for these family and how the three families interact.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to us kind of delving into that because it's such an interesting setup here, and they all have these kind of more altruistic points of view. Why they've come together to work and do this thing, I'm really kind of interested in.
Okay. Awesome. Song Da.
Yeah, this was really fun. I I love the whole like setup for getting us into Bad Valley, just the bonk and out, and then we all have to follow. I also just love the apologetically polite crimes that they kept pulling on us. Um, disappeared. I also think the setup of the NPCs, like having these 3 or 4 really families, and their unique ways and styles, and their fighting and cross purposes, but also seeing like a buried hint of like noble motivations for their clans, or what they used to
Mhm.
be, or what they might have been if things hadn't gone like this. I think that's a neat way to portray these families. um and Sherry, I like the ever evolving who we see of Lost Song Janai. And I like that you're like going in and reworking some of the playbook and your moves and stuff along the way, like handing off that sword back to him. Was very cool. Um, wishes in that I wouldn't mind seeing somehow, either through like a scene here or flashback, Lost Song Janai and Blue Mountain Scholar interacting. Just like see how you interact with him as an NPC. Um, I also got tickled with and now plan to wildly change up the disguise every session into something different and stupid and also not effective. But I'm committed to the bit at this point.
Okay.
Um, uh, yeah,
Okay.
I'm looking forward to Crystal Bao Bao showing up and getting some like life and embodiment for her.
Pushing you to get deeper into the secrets of Bad Valley. Come on.
Just the bad influence that I can't resist because everything she's saying is what I want to do anyways.
Yes. Lost Song Design.
Like I said, it's great to be back with these characters. I love all of them. I loved Sangda's whole shtick about having to be in disguise for all of this. And I think the thing that I love is because Sangda is always surrounded by other people who are doing disguises and yet has not picked up any of the skills that would go. So it's just one of those particularly good things that's super fun to see. I love Bao Shi is the most adaptable gentleman in the whole world, and it is just always a joy to show up and always feel like a clod around, compared to Bao Shi, because Bao Shi is just so gracious and so, just comfortable with where he is and who he is at all the moments, that it's just really lovely. I love Bao Shi. I am a stan of Bao Shi. So also he's my good friend, and I'm very fortunate for that. And Chow and all of his friends that he's made, in the past. I love that story, those things coming back, but also we get all the benefits of the friendships that Chow has made. So here we have this nice position here in a place where we don't know who to trust. So and maybe we won't be poisoned. That sounds good to me. This is great. I like all the mysteries and extra mysteries. The story of Ji Mingling was really cool. And so that's interesting. And that you immediately did something with Xiao Wuji. Also, like, wow, it just lots of things happened in a very short time. So good job to you, Lowell. Very good stuff. I'm super excited about it. I sort of liked our opportunity to rewrite our entanglements. I'm pretty pleased with these ones. I think they're playable. We'll check in next time at the beginning, make sure that feels right. And I did switch out the Heaven Sword Dragon Saber for the Imposter, which is that thing of when we ended the last campaign, she was clearly showing Grave of Saints, her undaunted Zedong impersonation and stuff. So I just wanted to establish that that's something that she's been playing with after being Blue Mountain Scholar for so long. That whole thing of being able to do those things, and also because we haven't seen Ray's character in so long, and I don't think my character ever had any sense that they were someone who was doing that. I hope it's okay if I have it. If Ray comes back,
I think that's perfect.
Yeah, if Ray comes back, I will take it down a few notches. But in the meantime, it gives me a sort of thing of that continuation of being able to do that as a skill set.
Okay.
So that's what I'm thinking. That's all. It was good. Lots
right.
of lovely things. Thank you. All of you.
And is there anybody, we've got Zedong on the table, if there's somebody else we want to bring in?
Oh, I mean, well, 11th Town, Zedong,
Okay, we'll talk about that.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know if that's the right place now. I can't. Grave of Saints, that seems like it would be a problem because he's with the Verdant Sword Alliance, when there's definitely that sense of like they co-opted the Juns. So I don't know.
Excellent.
Sherry,
Let's have a
can I ask you something real quick, Sherry? On my entanglement with you for that general, I have a thought. If you don't like it, that's cool. But I've learned my friend Jedi has been lied to by their parent, our parent figure, but they will never believe me. Would we like to explore a thing where Blue Mountain has not been telling you something or has lied to you, and I pieced together something I suspect?
Oh, that's interesting.
Or do you want to go different?
I am fine with that. Like, I mean, I don't know how dire it is that you think it is, but
yeah, let's workshop that next time, because we definitely want to get something that you can get on the table.
Yeah, like, because I would want it to be like something that we can. Yeah,
because that's something I think we can talk about. I worry about picking up most of these like romances.
Well, no,
I don't know if your romance people.
Well, here's the thing: is I've clearly left it so that how there's all those kids being swapped around with the Verdant thing. My background is set up that I was thrust into my family because my so-called mother loathed me and was just terrible to a little tiny child for no particular reason. So and then Blue Mountain Scholar took me on into his thing. So you might have some sense that there's a background that Blue Mountain Scholar is not telling me about, and you can make that whatever you want. But you would, you know.
Just
that
want to
he
get
wouldn't have said
something in there
anything
we
to
can
me.
actually play with this,
Yeah.
this
Exactly.
run.
Yeah,
So,
let's take a look at that in the beginning of next session.
yeah, because I
Yeah.
like the idea is, I don't think she's ever like thought about it, that maybe she's not actually from that family. Does that make any sense? She just,
Mhm.
so, yeah. So
Let's
that's
have
definitely
everybody.
in that, sorry.
Sorry, no. I was just gonna say, let's have everybody mark 2 XP.
Oh,
Because we
okay.
kind of got our entanglements kind of, we're still working those out. So let's just do 2 XP. And I'm going to stop the recording.